Practice incomplete dominance question. This is 1A on page 20. So with this particular, this is again incomplete dominance. Everything up until now we were talking about complete dominance. And what I mean by that is if you had a capital R for round allele, that was completely dominant over the recessive wrinkled allele, and it would mask the expression of the little r wrinkled allele. So this would always end up being round. That's complete dominance. We've seen it again with capital W, right? White wool was completely dominant over the little black recessive allele. So this would mask the expression of that, and that would be white. So this is what we talk about when we say complete dominance. One allele is completely dominant over the next. What we're looking at in this case is incomplete dominance. So two alleles aren't dominant of each other. There's two types, right? Again, this is just from page 20. We talked about intermediate inheritance where you have two alleles that will blend to give you a phenotype of a blend of those two, and then you have what's codominance. But let's take a look at our example question here. So again, we're looking at 1A, page 20. So let's go through this. It says, show the phenotypes and the genotypes of an F1 generation of a cross between a red snapdragon with a CRCR and a white snapdragon with a CWCW. Now, based on the information we provided before, and I probably should include that, but if you just look above this question, it gave you some legends already. It said if you have a CRCR, this is going to be red. If you have a CW, this is going to be a white flower snapdragon. But if you have a CR and a CW, and it doesn't matter the arrangements, because these guys are shows incomplete dominance, you could have the W first or the R first. It's just whatever one you do. But if you are going to keep the R first in this example, keep that consistent throughout all your question. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to interpret phenotypes at the end. So if I'm going to put the R first, I'm going to do that all the way in the question. So this, when those two interact, they interact in a way that is kind of a blending of a new phenotype, in this case, pink. So it's not like you had capital R dominating off over the little w or big W allele dominating the R. These guys are what's considered incomplete dominance because they work together to blend the two colors together and get a pink. So this is one form of intermediate inheritance, which is one of the types of incomplete dominance. So go back to our question. We know the genotypes. In fact, this question just gave you the genotypes of the two parents. Doesn't distinguish between boy or girl, so we're just going to arbitrarily put the R's on top. Again, you're isolating them into gametes. Put those gametes on the side and just start filling these guys in. So we have, again, what I said is if you're going to use R, keep that consistent with your legend. So put the R first, CW, go to our legend, we see that's pink. And you keep filling these in, keep them consistent. R's, if that's what you have in your legend, keep them like that so they're easy to interpret after. But you can see that all of these are going to be pink. Now, if they want this in a phenotypic ratio, that's what they're asking, I would say 1 is pink. Now, some questions, especially if they're numerical response, will say, well, how many red are there? How many white are there? So you just represent that with 0 of those, 0 of those. But you have 1, meaning 100% of all those offspring with those two parents are going to be pink. Okay, thanks, bye.